we've been celebrating all week long Giannis because Giannis is comfortable in his own skin. It's like action. Action's the same way. Giannis out there at the top of the basketball universe, eating 50-piece nuggets and drinking Sprite and lemonade, thinking that that's okay, thinking that's delicious. This is a man who once thought Milwaukee was the center of the universe because it had smoothies.
Yes, absolutely. It's a man, when he was a rookie, he sent all of his money back home and realized he didn't have enough money for a cab to get to the stadium. So he ran back to the stadium, and after 4 blocks, a stranger picked him up and gave him a ride. Wow. This guy is incredible.
Remember before the 2017 All-Star game in New Orleans. You know, All-Star weekend, guys have sneaker obligations, got to go to a party, go to an event, NBA cares, really a pageantry celebration of the game. And then when they go out there on Sunday night, you know, they've been a little tired, they've been having fun. They kind of go maybe half speed in an All-Star game. This is Giannis' first All-Star game. This dude was shooting before the game, Saturday night. Paul George is at the CAA party. Nope, Giannis is in the gym getting ready for the game. It's an All-Star game. You remember?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Steph Curry was like, get out of here. Like, I'm going to literally lie down so I can get out of the way as you just jump over me and dunk. Like, he was going 100 miles an hour in an All-Star game. His focus, his dedication, but doing it with joy. And that's what we said the day after they won. This guy's just smiling and dancing and loving life. And it's not that he's not taking it seriously. He's obviously focused and committed, but it doesn't feel all consuming where he seems like he's impossible to be around.
Yeah. And humble too, right?
Humble.
And you know, guys, here's a story that I remember from years ago. I think it was 2015. Jason Kidd was the Bucks coach. He ended up benching Giannis, and Giannis was mad. He was like, well, who's this guy think he is? Like, and he went on Google and he looked up Jason Kidd, and then he saw NBA champion, Olympic. He saw all his accomplishments. Right. And was like, oh, okay, then I better zip it. I can't compete with that.
Yeah, I better listen to this guy.
I better listen to this guy, or he might spill some more soda on the court.
Nice. Yeah. Also, what I love about Giannis is, and I think we talked about this, and I heard other people mention it this week, he goes about it his way. He didn't grow up in the AAU circuit. He doesn't come out to L.A. He doesn't go to New York and play in all these high-profile Instagram pickup games. He didn't want to be in Space Jam. He turned it down, kind of famously. That's the story that goes around. He just works out in Milwaukee with his brothers. He does his own thing. He raises his kid and hangs out with his family. And is just now, look at him. The world is his. The NBA world is his. He's the best player in the league. He's the face of the league. And I'm here for all of it. It's so awesome.
I remember the night he jumped over Tim Hardaway Jr. and dunked on his face in Madison Square Garden as being one of those moments, not only in Garden history, but just in basketball where you said, oh, he's taken another step. Like he's just doing it at another level. And it's really been fascinating to watch his ascension because we haven't had a superstar excel at his level who was introduced to us in this way. He was a 15th draft pick. Nobody was familiar with his game. Nobody knew him in college. Like you said, wasn't part of the AAU scene. Didn't have 2 million followers before he even got to college.
Yeah.
Look at Mikey Williams or Amari Bailey or any of these guys. They got a whole thing going before they get to the league. Giannis comes from Greece. Nobody's familiar with him. And now he's on top of the basketball universe. I thought about, when Kevin Durant got his first trophy and his first finals MVP, and then he got his second one. And there was a moment when he was at center court with LeBron, and he said something to the effect of like, we're on the same level. We're on the same level or something. Like, I've made it to the top of the mountain. But KD was a number 2 pick. KD was a big deal at Texas. Yeah. KD was somebody who, there were some question marks maybe about the size or the muscle, the strength, but you knew Kevin Durant was going to be a hooper. And he's a number 2 pick in the draft.
Yeah, and everyone kind of knew he should have gone 1. And when you knew Odom was going to get picked, it was like, oh, this is going to be a mistake.
Yeah. So then you have Giannis, who's introduced to us as a 15th pick, and he looked like such a baby when he came out to Milwaukee.
Baby face, so skinny, like 190 pounds. He was 6'8" then. Like, imagine if Giannis was 6'8" and never grew. Is he as dominant as he is now? Did he drop a 50-piece in the finals? Probably not.
We got the draft coming up next week all of a sudden, which is sort of crazy. No one's really talking about it, but the NBA draft's going to be, I think, next week or the week after. And it's a reminder with Giannis's rise and ascension that when these GMs of your favorite team are selecting guys, they're selecting him for the long term. So you got to look at some kid and say, hey, okay, this kid could grow into his body. We can put another 15 pounds of muscle on him. We can teach him how to shoot better from the three. You know, they're not finished products. I mean, Giannis is a testament to player development. I talked about my buddy's uncle, John Welch. He's an assistant coach in the NBA, has been for 18 years now or so. He's on Doc's staff here in LA, was with George Karl in Denver. And he's affectionately known as Johnny Workout because he's the best player development guy. He loves getting with guys when they're raw and turning them into serviceable NBA guys. And you see the development of a guy like Zubac in recent years, right? When he was with the Lakers, just a big body. Mike Muscala goes for a great game against the Lakers. So Magic Johnson says, we should trade for that guy. Trades him to the Clippers. And then Zubac goes on and becomes a pretty solid big man in the NBA now. You know, player development is such a thing. Milwaukee reaping the benefits of it at the highest level.
In all of our pre-show kind of fun NBA chats that we should really just turn into an NBA podcast, but like, you want to judge like guys and what they're going to be in the future. We're judging these kids that are 19, 20, 21 years old and determining they'll never win an MVP. They'll never become an all-pro. They'll never be in the top 20 all time. They're 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. I mean, if you were judging Giannis at that age, you'd think he'd be out of the league by now. So why can't someone like LaMelo Ball or Obi Toppin or any of these kids that like have never played significant basketball in their life turn into potential all-time greats? So it's like, if you want to judge some of these kids, just pump the brakes a little bit and like, let's let them be NBA players, figure out what their eating schedule is going to be like, their workout routine is going to be like. Let's get them a few years of NBA run before we determine that their career is going to be trash.
Ben Lyons in for Rich on the Rich Eisen Show. Yeah, I mean, you forget that like it took a change of scenery for Jermaine O'Neal to hit. He was in Portland coming out of high school, didn't really fit, goes to Indiana, and he's a multiple-time All-Star over a 10-year period.
Absolutely.
Change of scenery can be good for a lot of guys.
Tracy McGrady in Toronto,
Vince's cousin or second cousin or whatever it was.
He's okay,
player. But you could see he had the bones. You could see he had the foundation.
Then he gets to Orlando
to go and do great things.
It was a wrap.
Hall of Famer, Tracy McGrady.
You talk about young players developing. You mentioned LaMelo Ball. You mentioned Obi Toppin. Not sure Obi can get to that level as he has all of the Looney Tunes tattooed on his calf. So if you have Marvin the Martian on the inside of your knee,
does that prevent you from
I don't know if NBA champion is in your future. Maybe. We'll see. Will he be if he wins a title with the Knicks, will he be the first NBA player with Tweety Bird on his calf to make it to the NBA?
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.